What's up to all of my Scorpios out there? Welcome to Pulse of the Cosmos. I am your astrologer, Emily, and today we're going to be taking a look at this week's astrology for the week of Monday, August 17th through the 23rd of 2020. So let's get into it. I can't believe we're already almost to September. This is crazy. But in any case, into the astrology for you guys, we have, of course, a lot going on this week. We have this beautiful new moon in Leo happening here on Tuesday with Mercury there, and we are still in trine over to Mars over there in Aries. So this is a really positive aspect to have in this new moon. This is really, really beautiful, truly, because we have two fiery planets, the sun in Aries home in their dignified positions, really working together to help you achieve the kind of world that you're trying to create for yourself. Now, we do have the sun, the moon, and Mercury all over there in your 10th house, where your awareness towards this and through this Leo season has been turned towards your long-term goals, your career life, the world you're creating for yourself. What do you want to manifest? And with this beautiful trine over to Mars in your 6th house, which has to deal with your work life and your day-to-day habits and the way you structure your day and your routines, this is really things getting into a flow in terms of maybe work situations or structures flowing towards your long-term goals. And I think what is interesting to point out here, and I was reading this earlier in a book by Gerald Clark, he recently passed, but he was an amazing researcher and an amazing engineer. And I was reading one of his books, and he was speaking on how structure and function are essentially synonymous. And the way that he described this was through looking at this device called an FPGA, which is a field programmable gate array. And whatever this is an integrated circuit that they used to use back in the IT world. And the reason why it was so favored, actually they might still be using it, I don't know much about this, but the reason that they really favored it is because it was able to build its structure iteratively based on depending upon the function that was needed of it. So it didn't have to have the logic right all at once. And I think with my Scorpios out there, the reason I'm bringing this up is because sometimes the logic is not going to be right all at once. And we can want to go really deep into things as Scorpios and go really into the depths of things, but sometimes it's about making those kind of fast decisions and just being decisive with the direction that we want to go in our lives. And is the way that you are structuring your day-to-day life, is the function of that really creating the reality that you want to live in? These are some of the questions that might come up because we're entering into some harsh square angles over with all this Capricorn energy. We've already kind of hit it with Jupiter and Pluto, but come the end of this week, Mars is going to be squaring over to Saturn exact over there in Capricorn. And we'll be holding these angles for a while because Mars is going retrograde come here in September. So this is going to bring up a lot of challenges. This is going to bring up a lot of blocks in your life, and you're already really kind of feeling them, I'm sure, but this can come up in communication systems, the way that you're communicating. We may have to look to situations in our immediate environment and see if our communications are actually being heard, or maybe we have to be adaptable or look to even change the way that we communicate in some way, or there might be some situations that we need to disconnect from, where the communication is just too far apart and it's not resonant with your transcendental soul, and it's a situation or a relationship or a business partnership or a project you're involved in that just isn't resonant, and we've got to kind of let that go. Or there's that third house element of differing opinions. This could be differing opinions really coming in and clashing with each other, and this is the element of why the communication is going a little bit haywire. So we're really going to have to look to how we communicate and how we speak and how we articulate what we're feeling, because these are kind of some themes that'll come up as a struggle for us over the next month and a half. But in any case, this new moon in Leo is really setting you guys up, my Scorpios, to kind of about that, my Scorpios. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but yeah, I definitely believe that this new moon is really going to help elevate you where you've been putting in the work to develop your long-term goals and to develop your world and to develop your career life and all the work that you've been putting in with Mars over there in the 6th house. This is really going to help expand you there. But in any case, let's peek into the cards for you guys and see What's going on there for my Scorpios this week? Okay, so the first couple cards we pulled were the Ace of Wands crossed by the Hermit. So interesting, the Ace of Wands has a very Mars feeling to me. It's very seed energy, it's very initiation energy, and the Ace of Wands is very much so a gift of feeling that kind of new sense of spirit, that new sense of almost vitality even, ready to kind of go on this new adventure and start this new cycle in your life. Crossed by the Hermit, there might be some fears surrounding even loneliness for some of you guys. There might be some fears of kind of going into these spaces where you might be separating from relationships or from connections that are no longer resonant, and it might leave you feeling like you are kind of a little out in the woods and you're out alone. But the Hermit is such a beautiful card, because when you're in this space where you're disconnected from all these ways in which we can outsource our happiness and outsource our attention, you're able to do such transformative inner work on yourself that's opening you up to the path and the gift of this Ace of Wands and this new gift of spirit, this new gift of going off in a new direction. And you know, we pulled the Page of Swords reversed coming up next. So the Page of Swords is kind of a little bit of a disconnected page, right? He's kind of standing away, he's kind of loosely holding his sword. He's doing this because he's observing what's going on around him. And I think this Page of Swords reversed for you guys is you kind of coming out of that space, even where you've just been kind of hanging back and you've been observing and you haven't really been taking action. You've just been kind of observing all the information and looking at what's going on around you and in your environment. And now is the time this week where you're going to be stepping into action and stepping into the directions that you really want to go in this life. And we're reconnecting, but we're reconnecting to the things that we want and the things that we need and the things that we truly desire. And it's important to point out as well, this new moon is in beautiful aspects to the nodes as well. It's going to be in sextile to the North Node over there in Gemini and trining the South Node in Sag. And this sextile to the North Node in Gemini being our karmic destiny, and this being in your 8th house of your deepest wants and your deepest needs and your deepest desires, this is encouraging you to connect with that truly, and intimately and deeply, and don't sacrifice any sense of yourself for something where you're not receiving any gains from that situation. But in any case, I love you guys so much, my Scorpios. I hope you're doing well out there, and I will be back next week.